somebody from your position, okay, and this is something I'm kind of bringing back around to the beginning. You're third generation, family business. You've invested so much time into learning, not just the business, but learning from what it sounds like, culture, morale, people.
Yep.
Why, I mean, what have you learned, not only being third gen, but maybe the why you believe leadership, business owners should be investing in improving themselves, whether it's education about what's out there or human behavior or whatever it might be. What do you believe is the ticket there?
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm like really hot on right now, just because, I was a department of one for so long, and now to have 12 people, though it's still a small company, it just seems enormous to me. And for the longest time, it was really shocking for me to come to the office and there was like people there, like, oh, hello there. It just was very surprising for me, for my department. There was other people previously, but like in my department. And I think the word is ambivert or whatever, like sort of intro, sort of extrovert. And so, but I'm more introvert. And I'm not a natural leader. I'm not huge on confrontation, though. I'm not like completely shy away. I'm sort of like in the middle on all of it. And so for me, it's been a real big learning curve of how to manage a team. And I'm not by myself. I got my brothers here, and I've got two good manager. Her name is Larissa. So like not alone on this, but it's been a big process for me just to figure out how to make sure the team is happy, that they're growing, that we're providing enough training, that I'm showing up the way I need to show up. And that's a big thing. Like, if you show up with low energy, the rest of the team is going to have low energy. And so there's like so many things to think about. And so for me, this has been a process of just trying to learn. And something for me that's helped a lot is, besides just reading books on it and just doing it, like being in it, and making mistakes and trying to learn from it. I mean, I think back when I started managing people in the very beginning, when I had I had some disastrous conversations that I just completely butchered, completely butchered.
Right.
So I just try to learn as you go. But what I found to be really helpful is just having, just working on myself, trying to make myself the best I can be. And it's a work in progress and it always will be, but like morning routines, getting up when I say I'm going to get up, and doing meditation, exercising, practicing gratitude. Getting a little woo here, but I really believe in it, so I'm going to go with it. Just having a morning routine that starts my day off so that when I come in here, I'm the best I can be, and then just go from there.
What do you find that morning routine really does for you? And did you notice the results of it right away?
Honestly, I do. It's amazing. So most of my job here now is like sales. And I'm involved with the team too, and just, strategy and stuff. I kind of have my hands a little bit, but number one is probably just getting new clients and keeping clients happy. And it's amazing. I don't know if I don't know if I'm just like imagining it, but the longer I do my morning routines, it seems like the luckier I get. Like I just have things happening, like opportunities coming up out of left field. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just me like imagining that, or if it's just when I start my day off right, I'm the best I could be, and I'm just creating opportunities as a result of that. Like in meditation, it clears my mind. It makes me mentally stronger. It's kind of like exercise for my mind. I'm doing exercise, practicing gratitude. That alone has been huge. Practicing gratitude, because your brain, like the way it's wired, like if you think about what you're grateful for every day, you automatically just start to, your natural thinking, the way you naturally think is to look for the positive in things. And it might sound crazy, but if you try it, it's really, I don't know if you believe in this stuff, but it's really amazing. Like I'm all in on it.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I mean, those that have listened to the show for a while now, they know that years ago, as I was battling with mental illness and depression and things of that nature, a lot of what you're talking about were the things that helped me just get healthy. And to your point about seeing the positive in things, like I'm a firm believer that, and it's always funny because people that wake up and they go, oh, it's going to be one of those days. It always, like,
Yes.
They've called it forward, and it always ends up being one of those days.
Yes, exactly.
And so just what they're bringing into their environment, or what they're bringing into their mind, like it's what you focus on, you find.
And the challenging part, I think about like, what do you feed yourself? If you're watching the night news every day, you're going to be a mess after a month, because it's just like, this person got murdered and this business was robbed. It's like pointless news. But if you feed yourself with positive information, it's like, it trains your brain to think a different way. And And I don't know. I,
And also stop watching the nightly news. Like start realizing that it's entertainment. It's a business.
yes, they're
It's
selling.
about ratings.
Exactly. They want,
it's like they're selling a movie every night.
exactly. The thing, if any of your audience is gonna try a morning routine, if it's, my morning routine is only 30 minutes. And so, but the thing is, it's tough is that you don't see results right away. So you have to stick with it for at least a month or two. And then it's just, that's when I started like, okay, never going to stop this.
Yeah, let's talk about the power of gratitude for a minute, because that's the one thing. That's one. I mean, you talk to anybody that knows me, and they're like, "Oh, he's the grateful guy," because people are just so ungrateful all the time.
Yeah.
And I know, at least for me, it was difficult. To your point, it was difficult in the beginning because you're like, "Oh, what am I grateful for?" And everything just felt so superficial.
Yes.
Was it that way for you, where you're like, "Oh yeah, great, I'm grateful for my bed"?
Yeah, I mean, and once you get past, like, I'm grateful for my kids and my wife and the things that are so obvious, then you're like, I'm thinking, like, what did I say this morning? I think I said I'm grateful for oxygen.
Okay.
Grateful for, it's like things that, yeah, like your bed. I'm grateful for feeling sunshine on my face, like things that you take for granted, but if they were taken away from you, like if you said all of a sudden you couldn't see or you couldn't feel those things, would be a big deal for you. And so, yeah, it feels a little bit weird in the beginning for sure, but after a while, like when you sit down to think about what you're grateful for, your brain is so conditioned. It's like, all right, boom, boom, boom. I'm grateful for this, and it could be small things. I'm grateful for my socks because my feet are warm, but
Right.
it's things that you should be grateful for, even though they're tiny, yes, but there's things that you should be grateful for, because here's the thing: not everyone's as fortunate as us. Not everyone has socks, and so it's I don't know. It's been big.
It's what's that saying? And I'm gonna probably butcher it, but it's basically, if everyone put their problems into a bucket and looked inside that bucket, they would be so quick to take their problems back.
Yeah.
And so I love what you're saying, because I think gratitude really is, you were saying, I don't know if it's just me or if I'm just seeing it this way. I don't think so. I think to your point about leadership, like coming in with a grateful mind, it's weird because I even, and to the wrong audience, this would sound completely cheesy or cliche or whatever, but I'm like grateful. I feel grateful for like challenges that I face. Like maybe it's a client that's just not happy about something. Like I even feel grateful about those things because I've learned now from my experience operating a business that I'm going to learn something from that. And a year from now, or maybe 6 months from now, or even just at the end of the whole process, dealing with that client and improving the relationship or whatever it might be. Like, I don't know. I'm just using that as an example, but like whatever the challenge might be, there will have been so many lessons that made me a stronger individual. And so I'm almost like, I'm almost at the point where I'm feeling grateful for things that haven't even like manifested themselves yet.
You know what? I feel like we're becoming best friends right now, because I've actually said the same exact thing. I was having a problem for a little while where, because, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position I am here. When a client has an issue, when a client wants to speak to me, it's usually not to say, "Hey, doing a great job." It's not usually. It's usually because they have a problem. They want it resolved. And for a while, it was bothering me. And then I reframed it to exactly what you just said, which is where challenges, that's where the growth is. You get through these things, and it's another kind of like notch in your belt in terms of like a problem that you solved or a situation that you made better, and it does make you stronger. I think back, my wife and I own some investment properties. I think back to a situation we had with mold, the tenant that, it just like, I was going to bed with like pains in my stomach. I feel like my stomach was eating itself from the inside out. But we got through it. I'm like, all right, well, got through that. Like, I know there's a lot worse things that can happen, but that was pretty bad, and I got through it. So I 100% believe with you and agree with you on the challenges.
Yeah, I just feel like if we just took time to pause and reflect for a minute, we'd realize that that challenge we faced a decade ago that we thought was just going to destroy us is 10 years ago, is a decade ago, and we're sitting here thinking about it, which means we made it through. Like we never really think about the micros, like, wait a second, but I'm still here and I'm still breathing and my brain still works. And I'm in a position where I have time to even think. Like think about that for a minute. You're in a position where you have the time to sit and feel sorry for yourself. Like you should be feeling grateful for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially thinking like, outside of our society in other parts of the world, there's a 4-year-old who's lifting heavy rocks on their shoulders and taking them from one pile and putting them in the other. And they're going to do that until they're like 60 years old and probably question with every lift, why am I doing this? Like, what are we doing here? I haven't seen any outcome of me lifting these rocks and putting them in a different pile, but I've done it for the last 48 years.
I've even become such a lunatic with these challenges you mentioned, where I'm now taking cold showers to kind of create situations that make me uncomfortable. And I'm at the point now where the showers don't even bother me anymore. So now I've come accustomed to the cold showers. We were just down at the shore, and the water was like 55 degrees or some ridiculous number. And I was making myself go in there just because the cold showers weren't that cold anymore, and that felt a lot colder. So it's just, I don't know, you go too far with this stuff, but
no, you know what though, I get it, because years ago when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I lived in the Philippines. I did missionary work there and all that kind of stuff, and all they had was cold water. So I get the cold shower thing and being super uncomfortable, and also like getting used to it where it's not that big of a deal. But even though I haven't continued with that, I'm also at the point where, just recently, I would say within the last month or so, I've been timing my showers to make sure that they're less than 5 minutes, and so
why is that?
And it's funny, just because in my mind, I believe that, it's so nice, right? You just keep turning the water warmer and warmer, and when you're like, oh yeah, this is great. And then all of a sudden 15 minutes have gone by. You're still standing there like a noob. Like, what am I doing in here? I accomplished nothing. I washed myself 12 minutes ago. Like the purpose of this is over. So if I can get that, like that's even just a little thing, because a nice hot shower is a comfort zone thing. And I'm like, yo, if I can just make the decision, it's like my good friend Glenn Lundy. He talks about never hit the snooze button.
Yes.
And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, no, this may seem small to some, but I will live life in control and on my terms. Hey, congratulations. You made it to the end of this little nugget of an episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast. Now, if you want to listen to the full episode, head on over to thedealerplaybook.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the show using your favorite podcast player. That way you can get notified every time a new episode goes live. You can also stay up to date with everything DPB by connecting with me over on the Facebook page. All you have to do is search for the Dealer Playbook and then click like or follow. And then, of course, I'd love if you connect with me over on LinkedIn by searching for my name, Michael Cirillo. Now, stay tuned, because in another couple of days, I'm going to hit you with another full episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast.